I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Diane, roll call, please.
Daniil? Here. Ryan? Here. Andrews?
Here.
Browse?
Here.
Kabinski? Here. Here.
Sorry, Gene.
McIntyre? Here. Ferretti?
Here. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the workshop meeting of October 21st.
I believe it's actually October 19th.
Oh, okay.
It was October, the year 2021.
Okay.
So it should be October 19th.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't bring.
I have one request to speak on agenda items from Ron Longo. And I have one letter of correspondence that I will read to you.
There is another request to speak.
Oh, and Diane Mueller. I'm sorry. Okay. Didn't see that.
Shoot. My trash will be pointed off. All right. Same one.
Dear Mr. Ferretti, President of the Board of Directors in Monterey, one of our community's main amenities is our lovely pool. People gather there for a variety of healthy reasons: swimming, socialization, sunshine and fresh air, refreshment, and aerobic and non-aerobic exercises. As we age, we are increasingly at risk for loss of balance, weakness, and injury. Using the pool should be easily accessible for all residents. Unfortunately, it is not. Having been recently diagnosed with a neurodegenerative disease, I am very aware of the benefits of using the pool and the difficulties encountered entering and especially exiting the pool. The stairs severely limit residents from utilizing our pool. There are persons who have given up on enjoying the pool. I have observed other people ascending the stairs with difficulty. Compared to the steps leading to the main entrance of the clubhouse with pool stairs, the stairs of the former have lower rises and deeper threads, making it easier to climb. In addition, the handlebar in the pool is off-center, a disadvantage for those with weakened right hands and arms. The problem could be resolved by installing a portable pool lift which will safely lower and raise a person into the pool from the pool deck. Such a lift would afford more of our residents the opportunity to make use of the pool. A portable lift can be put away in case of hurricanes and other storms. I have added links to ADA-approved lifts at the bottom of this letter. Safety is a priority here at Monterey, as is taking advantage of the amenities we are so proud of. I urge you to seriously address this issue. Thank you. Sincerely, Diane Mueller, 15A. Thank you for that letter, Diane. I've spoken to Chris, and the other board members are aware of it, and we will be checking into it to gain more information and getting back to you, as well as everyone, all of the other residents. Okay. Okay, board comments. I'll start off with that, okay? Just briefly on the COVID. We are doing really well. October was a great month. Florida and Martin County showing, as more and more people are vaccinated, the new infections, the hospital admissions are steadily declining. They are really, October was an outstanding month, an outstanding good month as far as how we're doing with the virus. So it's important, I guess, that we all get our vaccinations. Just a couple of other things I'd like to mention. The Halloween party was a great success, completely sold out. Lots of great costumes. Well done to Diane Parks and the Social Activity Committee. And they did a very nice job. Bingo is off to a great start, thanks to our new coordinators, Rodney and Gayla Crum, doing a great job. Thank you guys for stepping up and taking care of that. We have a health fair on Monday, November 8th, between 2 and 4. Booster shots for the Moderna and Pfizer's will be available at the clubhouse. You have to sign up for them and fill out a form. Information more on Channel 63 if you want to check it out. The Bloodmobile will be on site. If anyone would like to donate blood, the health fair will also include many interesting displays and booths. Come and check it out. It should be fun. November 8th, between 2 and 4. Trivia, hosted by my darling wife and myself, on Saturday, November 13th, 6:30. No sign up, just come on down. We've done this before. Teams will be formed, or you can bring your own team. It will be a $3 fee to pay, and all monies collected will be divided among the winners. Multiple choice answers makes it a lot easier. Bring your own bottle and snacks. There's information on Channel 63, and you can call me anytime. Attendees must be vaccinated, and masks are optional. There also is a scramble this Saturday, November 6th. Check the bulletin boards for the information. And one other thing I mentioned, Veterans Day celebration, November 11th, right outside the Flagpole Park, I should say. Congressman Brian Mast will attend. He's a guest speaker. Refreshments will be after the ceremony in the clubhouse. Please come on down and welcome Brian to come to our community. Thank you. And Tom, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
Only one thing I would like to remind the folks to vote yes on the transfer of funds from the building account to the infrastructure reserve. Thank you.
Okay. Kim?
I certainly second Tom, and I have no other comments at this time.
No, I agree with Tom. We need to work on that letter and get it out.
Absolutely. Diane?
I agree with the three other board members. I also would like to thank Peggy O'Keefe for really coordinating the vaccine clinic. That's a huge accomplishment.
I'm sorry I omitted that. I neglected. Sorry, Peggy was responsible for putting that together, and it's great in the sense that we can get our booster shots right here in our own little clubhouse, and there's a lot of other good things going on that day. So it's on the 8th, so 2 to 4. Pam, I'm sorry.
I second everything that's been said and have no comments at this time.
Vic?
I agree with everybody, and also I just want to put out there, I'm very disappointed as a resident and a board member of the attendance that we get at these board meetings. A lot of people complain, but they won't come to the board meetings to air their views.
Okay, thank you, Vic. We'll be talking about the transfer of funds later on. It's on the agenda, so it is an important issue, and I hope everybody at home is watching and pays close attention to what's going on. We're going to be talking about it quite a bit. Just want to get it in everybody's heads that it's important to vote. It's very important to vote. Last year at our, actually previous in this year, when we voted on a capital contribution to rescind it from our governing documents, it was overwhelmingly in favor, but there just weren't enough people to vote. Less than half the people, or just about half the people, residents here that could vote, voted. And that's why it wasn't approved. So now it's still on our governing documents, and we have to address it. Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report.
Yes, I don't have a current treasurer's report. As you know, we have a new secretary. I reported last month, and I thought I had put a copy in this folder, but unfortunately I put it in a different folder.
I might have a copy here if you want to look at it.
If you do, I'll repeat it. If not, anyone can call me. I'll gladly go over it with anyone.
This here, is this what you're looking for?
That's the budget.
Okay.
No, as a budget. Sorry about that.
Okay. Chris, managers report.
Okay, since you all got to hear me talk twice already this week, very short. So I contacted the tree trimmers. They are supposed to be here tomorrow to start doing the palm trees. If they do not show up, I have 2 other companies in line to get the palm trees done. The board will be voting on the budget letter today. I will be taking it to the printers immediately. I have already emailed Millie and Bergie to ask them if the building reps will deliver as many as possible by hand and save money. They will be in envelopes addressed to the units, so you will know who actually gets one delivered to the unit. Everyone else will be mailed. So we will have them either hopefully available by Friday, the latest by Monday. Okay, so I'm hoping that the building reps can do that. And that's all I got.
Okay. Okay, we'll get right into new business then. First item is limiting the number of committee volunteers that can serve on committees. Vic brought this up last meeting at the workshop meeting, so I'll just turn it over to Vic and let him elaborate a little bit on it.
We have a lot of different committees here in the community, and some residents are on many different committees. We have a lot of new residents that I feel, maybe I'm wrong, that might want to be on committees, but there's no space available. So what I'd like to suggest or put toward the board is that we limit the number of committees that anybody can be on to 2, and then if everything works out well, they'll be fine. If we find that we still have an abundance of people who might want to be on committees, we can address that later on. But at this point, limit the number of committees to 2 per resident.
Okay, so is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so.
You want to try the motion again?
I make a motion that the board limits the number of committees that a resident can be on to 2.
Okay. You have a second?
Second.
Okay. On discussions, okay? I'll start off how I feel about it. You know, it's a valid thought for sure, but lately we've been having trouble finding residents to lead committees as well as serve on committees. Believe it or not, we've got 26 committees here at Monterey. You may not believe it, but I'm going to read the list off of the committees at Monterey. Budget Committee, Finance Committee, Golf Course Maintenance Committee, Interview Committee, Planning Committee, Property Advisory Committee, Salary Review Committee, Hearing Committee, Beautification Committee, Bingo Committee, Bridge Duplicate Committee, Bridge Women's Committee, Chip Shots Committee, Fitness Committee, Men's Golf Committee, Mixed Golf, Women's Golf, House Committee, Kayak Committee, Landscaping Committee, Library Committee, Memorial Committee, Social Activities, Summer Activities, Travel Committee, and Workshop Committee. And there's probably a couple more that I missed, quite a few. As much as I gave it a lot of thought, but I don't want to start making limitations for volunteers right now. Just my personal thoughts. Let the committees and the chairperson select and admit their committees and any new members that they feel would be a good fit. We want residents, we want to encourage residents to approach the volunteer to any committee they feel they could benefit. So right now I'm not for limiting volunteers to 2 committees. Especially there are committees that have fewer committees that fewer members and could use more on their committee. And it could stop someone from joining if they're already on 2 other committees. So those are my thoughts. And I'll go to Tom.
Okay, I totally agree with Vic that there are people on committees, the same person may be on 3 or 4 committees, and I think we have to open it up to people so that they can get on the committees, the younger people especially, so that we can get some new blood and we can get some new ideas and Get away from the same people making the same decisions year after year.
Okay. Kim?
I disagree. I think that people should be encouraged to volunteer for any committee they may be interested in or any project, that we should welcome them. If the committee is full, they are welcome to come to the meeting to make sure that this is something they want to do, and I would encourage that as well. And leave it up to the committee chairperson to determine the number of volunteers and encourage participation. So I think I go back to when there were no volunteers for anything, and people would hide in the audience like, not me, not me. And so I want to encourage all residents, especially the new ones, to volunteer.
All right.
I'm a little torn with this because I kind of agree with Victor, but I also want to see a lot of new owners or residents volunteer. I agree with Kim also. I think if we have volunteers, they're to be considered first before someone who's been on one or two committees. Definitely, they should be allowed on the committees. We shouldn't limit it to two and then not have any volunteers. If we limit it to two, what's going to happen to the, if we extend it to more than that, what will happen to a committee? We need to get new blood, new ideas, and new people on committees. So I think I'm tending to go with Kim more. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Diane?
I have a couple of questions. Vic, are you talking about the chair people of committees or actually the people who are just functioning on the committee?
Functioning.
Functioning.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not concerned about...
Like you might be on 2, 3, 4 committees as a chairperson or somebody on the committee. But limit that to, you can only be on 2 committees.
Okay, well, I have a little concern about that. When I first moved here, I wasn't going to be on anything. Guess that didn't work out, huh? The first thing I didn't volunteer, I was recruited for, was more a secretary. I then volunteered for the interview committee, which I'm still on. The interview committee is relatively small. I've then volunteered for the coffee hour for Mora, for new owners. I always ask people, are you interested in helping? Because I think that's the only way to get people to do it. Mm-hmm. So I think if we start limiting that you can only be on 2 committees, we're going to be shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, you yourself were on Finance Committee, House Committee, and did a lot of other things. That's how you got who you are.
That was the only 2 committees I was on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's
Okay.
my thoughts. I
Thank
think
you,
we should
Diane. Pam?
encourage.
I also disagree at this time because I feel we need to have more information out there regarding the committees that we have. We don't have, there are people that don't know what our committees are or what they do. And I think that as we get more information out there to people that will potentially volunteer, that is what is important and is needed. I think limiting, at this time, limiting to 2 is basically shooting us in the foot. We do not have a lot of people lining up to volunteer.
Right.
And a lot of it's because they don't know what they can volunteer for. I would like to see, as people volunteer for a committee, that somebody who is on more than 1 committee or 2 committees or 4 committees back off and let a new person come in and take over the reins, or not the reins, but come in and volunteer to do the work. And that's my opinion.
Thank you. Vic, would you like to elaborate on your...
Now, just one other comment. Some committees are limited to the number of people they can have on it. I know the Finance Committee is limited. Budget Committee is limited. I'm sure there's a couple other ones as well. So there is a max on some committees, and unless somebody drops off, nobody else could come on that. Yes, they can attend the meetings. We encourage everybody to attend all meetings if possible. But there is a limit. I understand what everybody's saying. I agree to everybody's comments to a point, but I think, I don't know if we could get more people or not. I think Tom said there's people coming in that's younger than people are retiring earlier now. Younger people are coming in. Maybe we can get some of those. I don't know.
Well, to answer to what Pam had said, Tom is in the process of putting together a handbook for the committees. I recently gave him a book that we put together at my previous, up north when I was on the board up there. We put together a handbook for committee for people describing what the committee involved and what was, what you needed to have done in order to join and whatnot. So that's in process. I gave him that handbook that I had from the previous community to Tom, and he's looking into putting together something. So, if the board members are finished, Ron, do you have any comments? Would you like to say anything, Ron, on it?
No, sir.
Okay, and just a minute. You have to realize that if you want to speak on agenda items, you must put your name on the list to speak. Okay, and also, I think Diane Mueller, you're on a name to speak. Would you like to speak on that matter? No. Okay. Sorry, that's just the way the rules are, but we do, maybe I was a little lax. I usually, at the beginning of the meeting, mention that anybody wants to speak, put their name on the list. I'm sorry if I did that. Can I make an exception in this?
No, you really shouldn't.
I think I should.
It's up to you. You're the president of the board.
Okay, then I'm going to make an exception. I'm sipping on my part because I didn't mention that you could sign up. So you may speak.
Thank you. My name is BOD Martin. I'm in 23A. This is the microphone. Oh, God. What I'd like to say about volunteering is, on Channel 63, you ask for volunteers. I think on 63, you should list what the committees are, the name of the chairperson, and their contact information. So if you are ready to volunteer, you know how to do it. And maybe a description of what that particular committee does. I know at the Halloween party, I sat next to a new lady that got here in April. She wants to volunteer, but she has no idea who to contact.
Well, that's certainly an idea, a possible idea. I think the handbook, when we get it done and make it available to anybody who would like to, join a committee, it would be a great help. Yes, Catherine.
I just wanted to say about the certain committees have restricted numbers of members, but in the bylaws of those committees, it's rotation after so many years, so that has to be followed. Then it gives the opportunity for new people to come in instead of the same members. If I read the bylaw thing properly, I just wanted to say that.
And the committee chairman has some leeway in there, approaching a member that's been on a while or is on a number of other committees and speaking to him about the issue. Peggy.
I just want to say that one of the agenda items that we're going to be doing through our MORA meetings is ask committees to speak and tell the audience what the committee does and what it's about. It's also about people showing up for some of those meetings and see if they do have an interest in it. MORA's also sponsors the new owners and renters coffee in, I think it's January or February, at which time all the committee chairs come to that and have an opportunity to let all the new owners know about these committees. So we do have other avenues of finding out.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Peg. Okay, no one else? All right, so, Ron, yes.
I mean, if somebody wants to be on a committee and you want to put everything on 63, we can't do it all on 63.
Absolutely.
What if we do like somebody puts a letter out into the office and they can come and pick it up? Just put something on 63. If you're interested, come to the office and we'll give you a letter of what every committee does. I mean, it just makes sense.
I don't think we have that yet, right?
Well, that's the other piece of it.
That's what we're presently
That's what
working on, something like
we're
that.
working on. We have a form that was put into each folder for the committee chair to give it to us, and we will put a letter together, put a booklet together so that everybody knows what every committee is doing, who the chairperson is, and how to get information.
And we can post that on our bulletin board downstairs, too.
Sure. We can post it everywhere we want.
I was wondering if that could also then be posted on the bulletin boards in the laundry rooms?
I don't know, we can't be putting all this stuff in the laundry room. You should see some of the laundry rooms and what's in there. There is no room on the boards for most things. There is stuff on the laundry rooms that have been there for years.
All right, we're getting off this topic a little bit here. Since no one else has anything to say, I'm going to call for the vote. Okay? Why don't you say your motion again, Vic, please, and then we'll call for the vote.
Just have him read it.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Okay, Victor Brouse moved the board limit the number of committees an owner can be on to 2 committees, seconded by Andrews.
Okay. I'll start with Diane.
No.
I'll call for the vote, please.
Okay. Danielle.
I say no. I think we have to try to get more volunteers.
Ryan.
No.
Andrews.
Yes.
Peretti.
No.
Brouse.
Yes.
Kabinski.
At this time, no.
McIntyre, no.
Okay. The vote, I think, was 5-2 to not approve this motion at this time, okay? Thank you. We'll move on to the second item on the agenda. What happened to my paper? Got it. Chip shots moved to the Communication Committee. Well, this was brought up by Diane Parks, I believe, initially, so that there would be more chip shots. Not too long ago, we reduced the amount of chip shots to, I think, about 6 editions or issues for the year. We eliminated a lot of issues that, when in season, when Diane, as chair of the Activities Committee, feels that the information should get out there to the people exactly on the events that are happening and what's available and what's going on in the community. So, but yet there is a strong feeling that the communications, that the chip shot should be under the Communications Committee. I agree with that. But I also think that the Communication Committee does a lot of work, and right now all they do with chip shots is proofread it. Pretty much chip shot is put together by Peggy and her crew and a committee that do the publishing, the editing, and whatnot. And I'd like to keep everything the same. However, I would like to make a motion that we move the chip shots to the control, maybe not control is not the right word, but move to the Communications Committee. But that all the policies will remain in effect as it is now, with publishing, printing, delivering, and everything else that goes with chip shots, except the Communication Committee will proofread the final copy before distribution to the residents to limit any items that will be considered inappropriate for publication. They've been doing that for the last months or so, at least. And I think it's a good procedure where we have communication committees going through the final edition of the chip shots before it goes out to the residents. We want to make sure that everything on there is appropriate and not causing any hard feelings or just simply out of line. And we'll go down the line on the board comments on that. Vic?
Wait, no second. I need a second.
Oh, all right.
Second.
Okay. Vic?
I'm not sure. I don't think it really matters
Where
what
it
they're
is.
under, Moore or Communication Committee. Basically, one or two people put together through a computer program, and then, like you said, it's proofread and distributed. Does it really matter what committee it's under? I don't think so.
Well, it is communications. Chip shots are
Yeah.
considered communications. Basically, you know, I had talked to Chris about it and a few of the other people involved, and they seemed like to agree that, you know, so I you know, and Bill McIntyre, I spoke to him at length. He feels that the chip shots should be proofread by the communication committee, but they're just not manned with enough members to completely take over the chip shots. And I think Peggy and Maura has been doing a great job with it, and I talked to Peggy, and she's willing to keep doing it.
It should remain.
Right, Peggy? Okay. Pam?
I tend to agree with Vic as to, if Communications Committee feels that it's something that they need to take over, that's fine. I still have an issue with the fact that that Chip Shots is not being published monthly in season. That is a big concern to me. But I wasn't at the workshop, so I don't know what the discussion part was.
That's been changed. Peggy has agreed. Maura will increase the number of editions. I think it's going to run from September to May. Is that correct, Peg? Yeah.
Starting when?
Starting now.
Starting now?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I think that it should stay with Maura. Chip Shots represents the people that live here. The Communication Committee is just a relatively new committee that's worked really hard to get the communication to where it is right now. And I know they still have other goals that they have to meet. So to add this as an extra...
We're not adding it. It's already under that procedure now where they do it.
Right.
I spoke to Bill about it.
Yeah, they edit it. Yeah, they edit it. But editing and making sure it's accurate are two different things. You know, editing it means you read it to see that the language is appropriate, there's nothing inappropriate, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all the dates are correct. So I think we have to have emphasis on whoever is submitting articles for the Chip Shots need to make sure that their dates are accurate.
Okay. I might have misspoke there. I didn't mean editing, really proofreading it in the sense that what they've been doing lately, Bill has been doing lately. Lorraine?
I think it still should remain under Maura since they're doing all the gathering and the proofreading can be under communication. Communication's a small committee. It just started. Let's give it a little more time to get established before we give them something else. And I'm happy to hear that Chip Shots will now be available September to May because being it that we only get it every other month, particularly in season when we have a lot of events, people do rely on it. So I say leave it where it is.
Okay. Kim?
Yes, I answered this or addressed it at the workshop meeting. As a member of that 5-people communication committee, I have to say that the committee is not equipped at this time to take on that huge responsibility of the Chip Shots and the work that is involved. So to keep it under Maura, I agree with Diane, and it is for the residents, and it should remain that way. It's that perhaps the proofreading and the editing can be continued with Bill. However, our chairman himself has a limited time term, and it's not life. So we have to take that into consideration. This is a good example of a committee that does need volunteers. Granted, you need some and I'm probably the least lacking in a computer knowledge, but certainly other areas can be addressed. It was initially when the community started, under the umbrella of communication committee, with the continuation of the process staying with Maura. So I have to say that we should continue to do that, keep it with Maura, and we'll see what happens in another year or two with what we're doing with the communication committee.
Tom?
Okay, I agree with just about what everybody has said. The bottom line here is that Diane Parks wanted to make sure that chip shots were available between September and April. Since that mission has been accomplished, it really doesn't matter to me whether it's under communications or Maura.
Okay. Chris?
I don't have anything.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Chris. When the communication committee started, just recently, what is it, a year or so, something like that, when it came back and was reorganized, to do all this stuff? How did it come by that they were proofreading the...
It didn't. The original communication committee that was formed years ago, the chip shots was under that committee. But at that time, we didn't have everything else. We didn't have email, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have Channel 63 as it is now. When the new mission statement or whatever resolution was made for the new communication committee, chip shots was not under it. 2 chip shots ago, there were a few things that went out incorrectly in the chip shots. Bill McIntyre, specifically as the chairman, said somebody needs to be proofreading this.
Okay.
He kind of got volunteered for the job. That's where this all came from. Okay. The thing with the social activities is that the chip shots had been said, I don't know when, that it was going to be cut down to every other month because people were complaining about having to do articles, etc. But I think, as Tom said, you guys kind of agreed on it, even though you can't vote at the workshop, that it doesn't have to be an article from anybody. It might just be a schedule of events. Right. It might just be these people passed away, or we're selling tickets or whatever. So I think everybody was in agreement that it should be a monthly thing again. Yeah. So as Tom said, that was kind of already addressed.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
In the past, wasn't it basically, other than the sorting and getting it out, wasn't it basically a one-person job?
Pretty much, yes. It was Joan Ream, and then Carol Grube took it over. Yep. And we would do every article had to be sent to Carol. She would put it in the format. She would do the proofreading. She would make sure that the dates were correct and all that. If it was, she would send it to the secretary would begin the printing, the building reps or volunteers were asked to fold, and that's how it would go out.
Okay, to me, it's not a bad idea to have a fresh set of eyes. It's put together by pretty much the Maura committee and the people that edit it and print it and prepare it for distribution and all that stuff. So, I'm not opposed to it staying at Maura. Actually, the way Chris had said, Bill more or less volunteered to proofread it. It's not a bad idea to have a fresh set of eyes go over things and I also think it should have some relation to the communications committee. So, my motion, I could amend it or something, because it seems like most of the board members are looking to keep it at Maura. But before we do that, Ron, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think Peggy's doing a good job of what she's doing there. I don't really see any reason to have more people you get involved with, the more problems you're going to have. Proofreading is one thing. Anybody can proofread it. So just leave it with Peggy. They're doing a good job with what they're doing. Sometimes there's mistakes, but if you get somebody else to proofread it, that'll work. You don't need another committee or give it to another committee to do that.
Well,
unless Peggy wants something like that. I don't know.
What brought this all up, to the board was the fact that the chip shots the amount of issues was reduced. And we just wanted to get it back to where it was so that everybody, you know, especially during season, that the chip shots were available so that, you know, the communication to the community would be out there, that people would have something to refer to as to what events were going on or what's happening or just general news.
It just doesn't make sense to move it.
No. Well, no, we're not. Well, my motion was not to move it, was just to let more events happen. You know, I mean, since we decided on the issue, I spoke to Peggy, I spoke to all the people involved, so, and everybody agreed that we should go back to more issues.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you know, I mean, every month is fine, but I mean, I get more people involved in it. I mean, if you need somebody to proofread something, I'm sure Peggy can find somebody to help proofread it. You
Okay.
get 3 people looking at me, that's not going to be good.
I just left somebody out that I wanted to thank. When Carol Grube resigned, Bernie and Keith Keller picked up the publishing.
Yeah.
So now we send it to Bernie and Keith. I omitted them. I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that's who's doing it right now.
Okay, Peg, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, years ago when this whole thing was started, that was the main source of communicating to the residents. Now we have other ways of getting it out more timely as events change. We also thought, well, let's try it and see. Can we reduce the number of these going out and see? So we've now gotten feedback that people still want it. One of the other suggestions that we're thinking about is maybe every other month or something might be just an event newsletter. Because not everybody wants to keep writing articles to put in here also.
Yeah, that's true.
So there was a lot of pieces to the whole thing. So, and Bernie and Keith have also said that they have some suggestions for improvements too. As they get articles sent to them, it's like just a little note. And they have to write the article or they have to form it to go into this software program, Publisher. So they have some suggestions for improvements on it. If you want an article in the chip shots, this is probably the format that you need to send it to them and get it to them in a timely manner, because it takes time to put the whole thing together and get it out. There's a lot of time involved in it.
All right.
So, just...
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And they do send it to me, and I proofread it, and I find some stuff in it.
Wait, Ron. Let's not get back and forth here, okay? Peggy, are you finished? Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. All right, there's a motion on the floor. I don't know, I think I should either amend my motion or reconsider it. Everybody seems to be happy the way it's going. As far as I'm concerned, I'll withdraw my motion and just leave it the way it is. Yeah. As far as Bill doing the proofreading, that's up to Bill, you know. He was never designated as the proofreader. Just, I think, the communication committee who wanted to check things out. I'll speak to him, you know, more on the issue. But my motion is just to leave it the way it is, and with Maura running the ballpark and either doing their own proofreading, and I'll talk to Bill more about it. Anyone else on the board want to say anything? They want to leave it like that, or what?
Don't let that Diane. You didn't ask Diane if she had any questions.
Oh. Well, what do I have to do? Withdraw the motion?
Okay, so I'm saying you withdrew the motion. Are you making a new motion to just leave it the way it is?
Yes.
Okay. Withdrew motion, new motion.
Except for, of course, that the issues have been increased. Okay.
Yeah, that we're having,
That's already done.
yeah.
It's already
That's done
done,
already.
yeah.
Yeah.
Second?
Okay. You have a second?
Second.
I
Okay,
second.
Diane, take the roll call, or you want to talk about it, or?
No, I'm good. Danielle?
Yes, leave it as is.
Ryan?
Yes, under Maura.
Yes.
Brous?
Yes.
Kavinsky?
Yes.
McIntyre, yes. Ferretti?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we go to number 3 on new business. Approve the letter and set meeting for residents' approval of transfer of reserves for the pond project. As you know, we've been kicking this around for a while. You're trying to get the word out because we're going to have a community vote on this issue soon. Excuse me. We have recently the board has put together a letter that will be added to the package for the vote. This letter has been initiated by your board of directors and manager to explain in layman terms why it's necessary to approve the proposal. I'm going to read the letter. It's brief and it'll understand just exactly what we're doing here. The proposal is to transfer funds from the roof reserve account to the infrastructure reserve account so that we would be able to immediately fund the repairs and improvements on our 5 remaining ponds and the culvert pipes that connect them. These funds will only be used to complete our pond project. Our ponds are in dire need of repair and restoration. For the past 50 years, because of extensive erosion, we have seen a loss of over 100 trees and shrubs, as well as heavy damage to the beauty of our ponds and community. We need to address this issue soon, as the erosion is threatening the stability of some of our buildings and common areas. This proposal will save our community a considerable amount of money. We will not have any bank fees or interest rates to increase our cost. Also, with the money available, we'll be able to proceed quickly with the complete restoration of all 5 ponds, which will allow our contractors to purchase their needed material in bulk, thus reducing the cost of the project. As each pond is completed, we will replenish our reserves with special assessments to our community. We will do our very best to keep these special assessments regulated and reasonable. Your manager and board of directors ask for you to support this, as we truly believe that this proposal is the best way to address this serious problem. And we encourage all residents to fill out the attached form and vote yes to the proposal. Thank you, the board of directors and the property manager. So this is an important issue where we're going to do the ponds no matter what, whether if this gets turned down or not, people vote enough, we still will do them. We'll get the money spent through special assessment as we have. We need to address our ponds and have them restored and take away the threat of erosion to many areas in our community. So, I'll ask for comments on this, and then we'll talk about what we're going to make a motion on. Or maybe we should have to make a motion on this first, Chris?
Let's discuss it.
No, I don't think you have to. I think if you want to review the letter,
I do.
and then then you can make the motion then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a work in progress.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Yes,
Okay.
Lorraine.
All right. The only thing I would like to change, and I hope I don't upset Chris, is when you say thank you in your letter, it should come from the board of directors.
I agree, Lorraine. I should not be,
yeah.
I bring you this stuff. I
Right.
tell you how to do it.
Right.
This is coming from you guys, and I agree, and I'm not offended whatsoever.
All right. Because Chris makes the recommendation, and we as the board approve it.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree. Chris is such a big help that I just automatically put him down.
I know. Yeah, we like his name on everything. Yeah. And
Thanks a lot, yeah.
I want to stress that this is a letter that is going out from the board in layman's terms, because included with this letter will be our attorney's letter, and that is the one that must be signed and approved by all owners. This is extremely important that all our owners please say yes. We are seeing so much erosion. We're concerned about our buildings. It's time to get the work done, and let's save money by transferring funds from one reserve to another reserve. And we will still special assess, but we will special assess after each pond is completed. We are not going to wait till the end and borrow a big chunk of money. We'll be borrowing small amounts of money, transferring small amounts of money from one reserve account to another. As the bills come in, when the pond is completed, we will have to do a special assessment, and we need to do that, because we need to replenish our reserves. We're taking money out of our reserves, we need to replenish them. So, please, everybody, vote yes.
Thank you, Lorraine. Kim?
My comments are really kind of picky, but I just have a suggestion that we don't need everything in capitals. I think some of these things could be bullet points.
Yeah, that's just his version.
Yeah, I understand.
This would be put on Monterey letterhead, it would be broken into paragraph form.
Paragraph form. Some capitals, I think, emphasize the concern and why we do need to transfer this money. Others can be, I think, in smaller print. And just like that, and just some other typos. So that's really, I think it says everything. I think we could be a little bit more concise. That's it.
Tom?
Okay, I like the letter. The only thing I would like to comment on is that we should also put in the letter that if you vote no, the ponds will still be done, and they will cost you more money.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Vic?
I agree with what Tom says, and also it's just one thing. You have your manager and board director ask for your support. I think a better word than support would be your yes vote
Okay.
versus
I
support.
think we encourage all residents to fill out the attached form and vote yes to this proposal. It's on there. Well, you guys can change this around. This is something I put together.
That's all I have.
With the help of other, people that give me some ideas. Pam?
I think it's a good letter. I would like to see the letter, though, from the lawyer. I would like to know what that...
It's confusing.
We gave it to you, that's just the proxy.
The proxy.
Yes.
I never got that.
Yeah, you should have. I personally put it in everybody's box. But I can get you one. I'll get you an updated one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very confusing.
Because actually, we did change.
I know.
And that's how it has to be. Everything that's in that proxy is the way the statutes say it has to be written. We don't have a choice. I'll get you an updated one because we actually moved, see the bold print? We actually moved that to below the yes or no.
Instead of right in front of the way you vote. Yeah.
It's as long as people know that where to put their yes vote.
Yes, yeah.
Diane?
Yeah, I just have one comment. I think it's a great letter. We certainly have worked hard to try to get to this point. There's just one sentence that I think I would like to have removed, and it's the one that says, "We will do our very best to keep these special assessments regulated and reasonable." Really, we're going to charge people the exact cost of what it cost us to do it.
Well, yes, that's true. But how we spread them out or talk about how we do them rather than do them all in one, I think that's something that we'll be discussing. Instead of having one large special assessment, we could have two smaller ones, things like that. I wanted to make that clear to everyone, that they're not going to get hit with any big numbers, not if I have anything to say about it. We'll definitely replenish our reserves, but we'll do it reasonably. But, I'm willing to take it out, if you feel that way. But most of I put a thought into putting this together. I wanted to make all the points out there, just why it's important, why it's needed, and why it has to be done, and other things.
I just didn't want to have any confusion that people thought that there was an opportunity for other monies to be charged, that it's clear that whatever we take out, we return.
Yes. Ron, did you want to say anything?
No, I just think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it sure is.
Get it through. We're going to replenish the reserves as soon as the pond is done. So you're not really borrowing any money or transferring money. You're going to put it back in as soon as you get done with it. So.
Yeah, Milt.
Hi, Milt Havens, 6F. You mentioned in the letter that you will save money. I think if you put numbers in there that you spent on Pond 4 or Pond 5, say here's what the closing costs were, here was what the interest was, these are the amounts of money that you'll you're looking at saving. So if you put the numbers in there, people can, look at it and say, wow, that's real money, as opposed to just saying, we're saving.
To put specific numbers in there, we don't have any contracts yet. We do have, some estimates that were given, but the numbers will be reduced because the contractors will be able to buy their equipment in bulk. How much of a savings it'll be, I don't know. There will be a savings because if they can borrow it and store it here, and they can buy enough for basically all our ponds, it'll save us money. And it'll save us money by not dealing with the banks. We're taking the money out of our own reserves. We don't have to pay any interest or any cost or fees to the bank. Things like that is how we're saving money by doing it this way.
Exactly.
Chris put a lot of time and effort in trying to talk to banks and find out, where we stood with if we had to borrow money, and they want collateral as well. Want to use our reserves as collateral. It's just not the right thing to do. This is the way to go. It saves us money, and we want to move on it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm totally supportive of it. It is the right thing to do.
If we have any numbers and we feel they will do good, we definitely would suggest.
Yeah, if you have an estimate of what we spent over and above doing Pond 4, here's what we spent in fees, here's what we spent in interest. To try to...
Each pond is different, though. Some of them...
Yeah, but you'd just be giving an estimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think the Pond 4 and 5 were all paid for by special assessments. We didn't start the work until the money came in from the owners. So we didn't really have any interest fees or anything. All we had were permit fees, things like that you get with any construction. Am I right, Chris?
Yeah, the only differences were when we did changes to the original work, like taking the island out, or when we realized we forgot a culvert pipe over here that had to be added to the bill. Besides that, I think it would be a little bit too confusing if we started putting numbers in for ponds that this is what the original price was, this is what it came in at, this is what we could have saved. I think it was so confusing the last time we did it that it didn't pass. That's why we're trying to keep that letter as simple as possible. And with that, being that most of you's heard me explain this, do you understand that letter? Is that giving a good layman's terms of what we are trying to do? I'm asking you guys out there. You get what we're trying to do. You understand. So when you see this thing from the attorney, that most of you are going to be like, what the heck is this? That letter explains it well enough that you're going to understand to vote yes on the other proxy.
Absolutely.
Right.
By the common sense, you're going to save money.
Thank you.
All right. No other comments? Excuse me. I'm going to make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the letter with the necessary changes, and that we set the meeting for the vote to be as soon as possible, as we get our stuff together, our letters, and how we want to proceed, and get a date. We don't want to wait until March or even the first of the year. We want to get started on it now. So that's my motion to approve the letter with the changes and to set a date for as soon as possible.
I second.
Okay. Anybody want to discuss that, or we want to just go ahead and vote? Vote? Okay. Diane, please.
Daniil.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Brous.
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes. Ferretti.
Yes.
You're going to do the changes?
Yeah.
Yes.
With the change, yes. With the
Do we need to set a date for this?
As for the date, what do you think a reasonable date would be, Chris?
Let me get the letter from him and get all the paperwork together, and then I will work, because you have to have a 14-day notice. So I will look at what other things we have planned.
Okay.
And I will give you guys maybe like 3 different dates that may work. That'll give us plenty of time to get it mailed out or delivered.
Okay.
Okay. And then I'll
Just
give you
want
those 3
something.
dates. But it will be, the as soon as possible is good enough for the motion.
Okay.
All right. Items 4, 5, 6, and 7 concern moving transfer monies from the reserve to different parts of the reserve. I'm going to turn that over to Lorraine, our treasurer, and would you take care of that for us,
Yes.
please, Lorraine?
I move that we transfer $10,000 from the unallocated reserve interest to the building reserve account. We have the interest that came in, and we want to transfer it to the reserve account so that we can build a reserve account. And we won't charge our maintenance fees won't go up. This is the reason.
She's making a motion right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
She moved to transfer $10,000 from the
I'll second
unallocated
that.
reserves.
Okay.
I'll second it. Diane?
Daniil.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Brous.
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes. Ferretti.
Yes.
Okay, then I move to transfer $18,000 from our insurance escrow account to building reserve account for the same reasons, to build our reserves so our maintenance fees won't go up.
Seconded.
Daniil.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Oh, you want to say?
Andrews.
Yes.
Brous.
Yes.
Kabinski.
Yes.
McIntyre, yes. Ferretti.
Yes.
Question.
Sure.
So we know, why is this money available to be transferred?
Both of them so far? Or
No, just the insurance.
Okay, so the insurance escrow. Years ago, we set up what we called an insurance escrow account. It was, at that time, we had $480,000 allotted for insurance. We put in an additional 15%. So we always had money for any increase that might happen because we renew our insurance in May. We make our budget in November. So if there was any unforeseen increases, we always had money to cover it. It was for emergency repairs. When the tree got blown down, that was a $10,000 cost. We were able to take it from that account. The third one was to cover any deductibles if we needed them immediately. So over the years, it should have been about $75,000, and we are up to approximately $94,000 in that account. So you only needed 75. We have additional money that you can use to transfer anywhere you want. Does that explain it?
It was more for the audience than me.
Yeah, all these motions here that involve Lorraine and Chris got together, these are things that they worked over that are good moves for our account and our reserves.
Yeah, that replenishes the reserves before we even start the budget, you know, the budgeting process, because if we didn't have this money, your maintenance fees would go real high, because we do have to keep our reserves accountable, and this way it will help us in the long run. Okay, am I ready for the next one?
Yes.
Okay, move to transfer $25,000 from the operating to building reserve account.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, you can elaborate on that also?
Okay, this is basically the same thing. We have an account set up that we always have $150,000 available. $100,000 is to cover any cost overruns. It's to cover, in the month of June, we don't spend as much on water. Come November, we spend more money on water, so it gives us a fluctuation. It also gives us $50,000 in the budget to have an extra 50 to always pay the land lease. If we miss the land lease for some reason, Bachelor can actually foreclose on us and start it all over again. So we have a way above $150,000 available by the end of the year. This is only from over the years, saving a little bit here, saving a little bit there, etc. So there are only two things you can do with it: offset the budget or give it back. And being that we really depleted our building reserve this year, we spent a lot of money, you're basically offsetting the budget by giving this money to a different line item, which would be the building reserves.
Right.
One more. Go ahead, Lorraine.
Call a vote.
Yeah. Daniil.
Oh, yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Andrews.
Yes.
Brous.
Yes.
Kabinski?
Yes.
McIntyre, yes. Ferretti?
Yes.
All right, next is, I'm requesting the board to accept the proposed 2022 budget from the Budget Committee to mail to all unit owners.
Second.
Daniil?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Brous?
Yes.
Kabinski?
Yes.
McIntyre, yes. Ferretti?
Yes. Okay, that pretty much takes care of our business. Does anyone like to speak on any non-agenda items? Hallelujah. Okay, in 1 hour and 11 minutes, we finished the meeting. Wow.
Good job.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right, thank you.
Lorraine, would you sign this letter so I can go to the printers?
Yeah, I have it. I gotta go back in there and sign checks.